I'm Kate, and I thought I knew what love and loyalty meant after 18 years with Mark, my anchor in a world of quiet suburban nights. But one invitation to a glittering mansion party, hosted by the enigmatic and powerful Victor Langston, turned my life into a maze of secrets and shadows. Underneath the dazzling chandeliers and clinking champagne glasses, a dangerous temptation whispered my name, pulling me down a path I never imagined I'd tread. Now, every smile I give Mark hides a storm of guilt, and every glance in the mirror shows a stranger I can't escape. What did I do in that dimly lit room? And will the truth shatter everything I hold dear? Picture this: the faint hum of a pencil scratching against paper in the quiet of my home office, a sound that's become my constant companion over the years. I'm Kate, 44 years young, and I've spent nearly 2 decades building a life with Mark, my rock, my partner of 18 years. He's 46, a senior manager at a top-tier tech firm, always chasing the next rung on that endless corporate ladder. There's a quiet strength in him, a subtle charm that drew me in from the start, and I've made it my mission to support his dreams while carving out my own path as a freelance graphic designer. We've settled into a cozy, unassuming life in a suburban pocket just beyond the city's restless heartbeat. Comfortable, steady, but never quite flashy. Mark's world, though, orbits around figures larger than life, and none more so than Victor Langston, the 52-year-old CEO of his company. Victor's a millionaire, a titan in every sense, tall, with features so sharp they could cut glass, and a voice that commands attention the moment it rumbles through a room. He's got this aura, a mix of ruthless ambition and unexpected generosity, that makes him both intimidating and magnetic. You can't help but notice him, whether you're in his favor or not. And lately, Mark's been buzzing with a kind of nervous energy I haven't seen in years, all because of an invitation that landed in our hands. A golden ticket to Victor's annual bash at his sprawling mansion. The company just shattered records for the quarter, and Victor's throwing a party to match that triumph. A night of glitz and power we've only ever glimpsed from the outside. Stepping into Victor's mansion feels like crossing into another world, one I've only ever dreamed of. My arm is looped through Mark's as we walk through the towering double doors, and I'm instantly hit by the sheer grandeur of it all. The foyer alone could swallow our entire house, with crystal chandeliers dangling like frozen waterfalls, casting a warm, golden glow over the polished marble floors. A sea of guests surrounds us, executives in tailored suits, their partners dripping in diamonds, and even a couple of local celebrities whose faces I recognize from glossy magazine covers. The air buzzes with energy, a mix of laughter and the soft clink of glasses, while a string quartet tucked in the corner weaves delicate melodies that seem to dance with the light. I take a glass of champagne from a passing waiter, the crystal flute cool against my fingers, and sip it slowly. The bubbles tickle my nose, sharp and crisp, a little reminder of how far we are from our usual quiet dinners at home. Mark leans in, his breath warm against my ear, and points out a few colleagues across the room. Big names he's been itching to impress. I nod, smiling, as we weave through the crowd, exchanging polite hellos and small talk. But beneath the pride I feel for him, there's this nagging discomfort, like I'm wearing a borrowed skin. These people, with their effortless confidence and casual mentions of second homes and private jets, make me feel like an outsider, a guest in a game I don't fully understand. We drift into the Grand Ballroom, a space so vast it could host a small army, and that's when Victor takes the stage. He strides up with the A's the night wears on. The mansion starts to feel like a different beast altogether. The once vibrant hum of conversation has dwindled, leaving behind an eerie stillness that presses against my skin. Most of the guests have trickled out, their laughter and clinking glasses now just echoes in my memory. I'm in the expansive living room with Mark and a handful of others, the last stragglers of the evening, nursing the dregs of our drinks. The room feels cavernous now, the dim light casting long shadows across the ornate furniture. Mark sits beside me, his tie loosened, a tired but content smile on his face as he chats quietly with a couple of colleagues. I try to match his ease, but there's a heaviness in the air I can't shake, like the mansion itself is holding its breath. Then I see Victor approaching us again, his presence as commanding as ever. But there's a shift in him now, something more personal, almost too close for comfort. His sharp features seem softer in the low light, but those piercing blue eyes still cut right through me. He claps Mark on the shoulder, his voice smooth as silk, and asks him to join a small group of executives for a casual chat about upcoming projects. Mark's face lights up, and he gives me a quick, encouraging smile before heading off with the others, completely unaware of the storm brewing in my chest. Victor turns to me then, his gaze locking onto mine with an intensity that makes my stomach twist into knots. He suggests, in that low, deliberate tone of his, that I join him for a private conversation. I hesitate, my instincts screaming at me to decline, but politeness wins out. I nod, forcing a small smile, assuming it's nothing more than a quick word about something trivial. He leads me away from the living room, down a long, dimly lit hallway that seems to stretch on forever. The walls are lined with framed artwork, each piece more striking than the last, and ornate vases sit on polished pedestals, their elegance almost suffocating. My heels click softly against the hardwood floor, the sound swallowed by the oppressive quiet. We reach a secluded study at the far end of the corridor. As I stand in that secluded study with Victor, the weight of my decision crashes over me like a tidal wave. My heart thunders in my chest, each beat a reminder of the line I'm about to cross. He gestures toward a set of double doors at the far end of the room, his expression unreadable, and I follow, my heels clicking on the hardwood floor with a hollow echo that mirrors the emptiness inside me. The walk to his bedroom feels surreal, like I'm floating outside my own body, watching someone else take these steps. My mind is numb, a dull fog settling over every thought as we pass through those doors into a massive, dimly lit space. The king-sized bed looms in the center, draped in silk sheets that shimmer faintly in the low light, a stark contrast to the chaos churning within me. I can barely breathe, my hands trembling at my sides, my breath shallow and uneven. Every fiber of my being screams to turn back, to run downstairs to Mark, but I'm rooted to the spot, trapped by a choice I can't undo. The sense of betrayal claws at my chest, a sharp, unrelenting pain as I picture Mark in the living room, laughing with his colleagues, oblivious to where I am. Victor, though, is the picture of composure, his movements deliberate, his demeanor almost detached. To him, this is just a transaction, a moment stripped of emotion, and that coldness cuts deeper than I expected. Time slows to a crawl, each second stretching into an agonizing eternity. I try to disconnect, to push reality away, focusing on the faint hum of the mansion around us, the distant murmur of voices far below, anything to keep from feeling the weight of what's happening. It's like I'm underwater, sounds muffled, movements sluggish, as I navigate this moment with a careful distance, shielding myself from the full impact.
When it's over, I stand before a gilded mirror in the corner of the room, my fingers fumbling as I fix my hair and smooth out my dress. I avoid my own reflection, unable to meet the eyes of the woman staring back at me. Shame washes over me in waves, hot and suffocating, settling into my... A few days after that fateful night at Victor's mansion, I find myself in the passenger seat of our old sedan, the familiar hum of the engine doing little to soothe the storm raging inside me. Mark is behind the wheel, his voice bubbling with excitement as he speculates about what tonight's formal company event might hold. Maybe a big announcement, maybe some good news for him. I nod along, my responses short and clipped, barely able to meet his eager gaze. My stomach is a tangled mess of knots, each twist tighter than the last, as I stare out the window at the passing city lights. Every mile brings us closer to the firm's sleek headquarters, and with it, the dread of facing Victor again after what transpired. I grip the edge of my seat, my knuckles pale, wondering if the weight of my secret will crush me before we even arrive. We pull into the parking lot, and soon we're stepping into a polished conference room, the air thick with the scent of expensive cologne and anticipation. The space is packed with employees and their families, all dressed to impress, their murmurs blending into a low hum of expectation. Mark and I find seats near the middle, and I settle in beside him, my hands clenched so tightly in my lap that my nails dig into my palms. The tension is suffocating, a heavy fog that wraps around me, making every breath a struggle. I steal a glance at Mark, his face alight with hope, completely unaware of the turmoil eating me alive. My heart aches at the sight of him, so full of trust, while I sit here drowning in the aftermath of my choices. Then Victor steps up to the podium, his presence as commanding as ever in a tailored suit that seems to absorb the light around him. His voice booms through the room, confident and authoritative, as he begins his announcements. Each word feels like a hammer against my chest, my mind racing with fear of what he might say. Could he hint at something? Could he expose me in some subtle, cruel way? I brace myself, my body rigid, as his gaze sweeps over the crowd. And then, the moment comes. Victor announces Mark's promotion to deputy, effective immediately. Weeks have slipped by since that night at the company event when Mark's name echoed through the room as the new deputy. I'm sitting at our worn kitchen table now, the wood scratched from years of shared meals and late-night talks, watching him across from me. His eyes are bright, alive with a fire I haven't seen in so long, as he recounts a heated boardroom debate from his day. His hands gesture wildly, painting the scene, and his voice carries this infectious excitement about a project he's spearheading. I nod, my lips curved into a practiced smile, murmuring little encouragements while inside I'm a storm of jagged edges. Every laugh of his, every triumphant detail, feels like a weight pressing harder on my chest, a reminder of the cost behind his success. I grip my coffee mug tighter, the warmth doing nothing to thaw the cold knot in my core. Later, as I pass by the hallway mirror on my way to bed, I catch a glimpse of myself and freeze. The woman staring back feels like a stranger, hollow eyes, a tightness around the mouth that wasn't there before. I barely recognize her, or maybe I just don't want to. Some nights, I jolt awake, drenched in sweat, my heart racing from dreams where Mark's face twists with betrayal as the truth spills out. I lie there in the dark, listening to his steady breathing beside me, wondering how long I can keep this buried before it claws its way to the surface. I haven't laid eyes on Victor since that evening at headquarters, but his presence lingers like a shadow I can't shake. I can still see that knowing wink he threw my way during the announcement, a silent tether to the bargain we struck. It replays in my mind at the worst moments, while I'm folding laundry or staring blankly at my design work, his sharp gaze cutting through me, a constant whisper of what I gave up. Did I do the right thing? I wrestle with that question every day. Seeing Mark thrive, hearing the pride in his voice, it should feel like enough. But then I think of the quiet fracture in our bond, the invisible stain I've left on something I swore to. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.